All right, so sorry about that, everybody. I don't quite know what happened, but I don't think anyone was watching. So it's not the end of the world. Let me just log out so I can... Winnie, we're not doing this right now. I'm sorry about that. My dog has decided to join me in my craft den. And not super thrilled with that, because she likes to make noise, but maybe she'll quiet down a little bit. So anyways, I'll give it a minute or two just for people to hop in. I want to make sure, though. Let's go. Make sure it's in the crack. Okay, good. It is up. All right, all right. Let me push my craft towels off to the side. We'll just wait a minute or two for some people to log on. If you are joining me today, drop a quick comment just to say hello so I know that you're here. I apologize that I have to do a take 2 of this. The first go just wasn't showing up in the fan club. It was very odd. I didn't quite understand what was going on. So... really excited to be using the Dino-Mite stamp set with y'all today. I kind of came up with this last minute, and I just thought this sounded like a really fun sort of idea, just because I don't usually gravitate towards the 2x3 stamp sets, and I was just kind of going through the Kindred Stamps website, seeing what we had in stock, and I'm like, well, I haven't used this one yet, so maybe we'll go ahead and we'll do something with the with this cute little dino. So gonna give it another second or so and we will get to crafting. Like I said though, if you are stopping by, drop a quick comment just to say hello. My Misty. And some glue. Because of course we have to craft with glue. We always need the glue. And foam tape. Can't forget foam tape. All right, let's get into some coloring. So hello. I hope y'all are having an absolutely fantastic Saturday. Today I'm gonna be making an A2 sized card using the Dino-Mite stamp set, of course, by Kindred Stamps. And I'm just gonna pull it off to the side so you guys can see it. This is a little 2x3 stamp set. It's the smallest stamp size that we typically sell. I wanna say price point on these is usually $4.99 if I'm not mistaken. And they typically are large enough to accommodate one Kindred size image along with 1, maybe 2 sentiments depending on the image and the sizing. So we've got this, we'll call him like a playpen dinosaur because he kind of goes with our playpen pal stamp set. So I wanted to make a card though just featuring him where he's kind of like causing a little bit of ruckus in like a torn down city of sorts. So, but I also wanted to throw in some inspiration from our retro paper pack because I think the different patterns in here work really well with the kind of like the timeline where this dinosaur is from. So I'm gonna use that as a little bit of inspiration and let's get into some coloring. So let's see, let's zoom in just a little bit. Perfect. And get into some Copic coloring. Now, if you guys saw what I created when I did my Kindred Town stamp sets for this last release for the Italian set, this is like the same color combination that I used for the turtles from Turtly Awesome. So I thought that it would be kind of a good idea to use something similar. Actually, I might make him just a wee bit lighter, but it's the same. It's going to be the same sort of base. All right, so we're just going in. This is YG17. Going in anywhere there'd be shadow. Adding it in. Going in with my darkest color first. I always seem to color from dark to light. I've been having a very crafty Saturday. I'm up to, this is project number 7 of my Saturday, and I needed some time in my craft space today just because I've been a little busy. So I was very grateful for that. I will, of course, drop by and check the comments shortly. But let's make sure we're getting this nice and down. I guess I always know when there's like an under the foot, I never really know what color. Like, how dark do you make it? Like, should it be darker than the rest of their body because it's under the foot? Should it be a little lighter because it's raised up? I don't know. Stay tuned. All right. That's pretty good. A little under here. And a little over here. That looks pretty good. All right. Next color, let's go in with some YG07. And we're just going to kind of take that green and start drawing it out. Just kind of taking my shadows, drawing it out a little bit. That's typically my go-to style of crafting, is figure out where the shadows are and then just kind of work your way in from there. And it works pretty well for me. By the eyes, go around his brow a little bit. That's pretty good. All right, let's check comments, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Hello, hello, Gwen and Bo and Barbara. And hello, Leanne. Do you use the brush tip for Copics? I do, Bo. I have only the sketch markers. I have nothing against the Chows. I have nothing against the classic type. I just got the sketch because I know they offer the most color offerings, and I do use the brush tips for them. Sometimes I think about like, should I like change them out and do like the bullet nibs that come with the original? Because sometimes I wonder if like that's more my style, but then I think about how much work that would take to go ahead and switch everything out, and I decide against it. I've already invested a lot of time and energy into my marker collection. Aside from refilling them and cleaning them as needed, I don't really want to do much else than that. And you may have just heard that would be Winnie deciding she is bored with me in the craft den. And that's okay. Oh boy, now she's whining. She heard me. She has been a little ornery this morning, wanting attention, which is fine, but not when I'm doing a live. All right. But it's okay. She's cute. That makes up for it, right? All right, going some YG03. I think I might do one extra color than what I was originally anticipating, and that's okay. Just because I want him to be a little lighter. A little bit of behind the scenes with Facebook Lives. So when I started doing Facebook Lives in 2020, so I can't believe I've been doing them for 3 years. But anyways, I've been doing Facebook Lives. When Facebook Lives first started to be a thing, Facebook was very nice about them. They would allow you to just see all the comments as they come up, and you, like me as a, I guess you can call me either a moderator or a facilitator. Let's go with moderator. No, we're going with facilitator, because sometimes I don't fully moderate. I work as both, but I feel like I more facilitate. But what I'm saying is, I used to be able to see all your comments as they would come up on the screen, and it would be really nice and convenient that I could just kind of raise my head up, watch questions as they come in, and that was great. Well, now I don't know why they're doing this, and this has been it for like at least a year, maybe even more. I have to like move the screen with my finger. There's like two sections. There's like a comment screen, and then there is, I don't even know what, just an empty screen that I don't see the comments. And if I want to see the comments, I have to go flick the screen, and then it'll automatically reset and go back to like the no comment screen. Oh, so I'm always like, all right, let's check comments. So when I say that, that's like, because I literally have to like go back and check because I can't always see. I don't understand sometimes. Why has technology got to make things difficult? That's just, I'm not one to typically complain about those things, but I guess today I am. All right, I'm going to do one more color. Grab it. Do a YG00. Y'all would be astounded to find out what like my routine is before I do a Facebook Live. So you know what? Why don't I just tell you? So, Facebook Live prep takes an hour. For me, I give myself a full hour to get ready for a Facebook Live. However, you might think that sounds like a little bit of overkill. It might be. But that hour gives me enough time to get all of my prep work done before I hop on and do a Facebook Live. So I make sure my image is stamped out. It gives it time to dry, though the ink that I use for my Copic markers, I don't typically have to worry about that. I'm able to do all of my die cutting, pull my Copic markers so I know what I need to pull from during the live, pull my ink pads, everything. But also things that you might not think about, where if you're going to do a Facebook Live, you better make sure you go to the bathroom beforehand, because you don't want to be in the middle of a Facebook Live and have to take a potty break. So that, I also always make sure I've got water on my desk, because you need water during a Facebook Live because you talk a lot. So anyways, I give myself a full hour to get ready for everything. And that also allows me to have a streamlined period of time with y'all, that you don't have to watch me die cut each piece or have me like fumble through like, well, what sort of ink pads am I going to use today? No, you're just going to see me kind of just move from one thing to the next. So after I lay down this second layer of YG17, I'm going to go back and check some questions or comments, or make sure that everybody's questions are getting answered. See, and it's funny because sometimes I say that and then I go and I check and there are no questions. So that's what I mean though when I say like, oh, I got to check the comments, because I literally can't see them all the time. Go in. Capture everything. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. All right. All right. Haven't missed any questions, but I appreciate you commenting along with me, Bo. I really do. It is the marker maintenance. I tell you, Copics are an investment. And investments are not just like a one and done sort of thing, you know? Like when you're buying a marker that you could in turn buy like multiple sets of, let's say, Crayola markers. We'll say the 8 count. I don't know what those retail for nowadays, but I'm sure you can probably grab one for less than $6, $7. So, and I know that the MSRP of Copics are, like, if you don't get them on sale, I want to say is like $7.95 for the sketch. So, of course, you got to maintain it because you don't want your investment to have any sort of issues. But even when you maintain, like, I still come across cracked caps and whatnot. There's no escape. And sometimes, no matter how much people are like, oh, well, you could do this. And I'm like, no, if you have a cracked cap, like, there's nothing you can do. You're going to have to get at least bare minimum a new cap. And for most people, that means a new marker. All right. We're getting there. He's going to be a little bit more neon-y than I had imagined, but that's okay. Also figured I would show you guys what I do to like add scales, I guess you can call it. I don't know. If I'm ever working with like something that's got like a scalier skin, I kind of like to do an effect with gel pen just to kind of give it a little extra texture. Works really nice for any sort of like underwater or dinosaur, lizard, snake sort of thing. But then I have to control myself because I don't want to go and do too much. All right, let's make sure his mouth is good. All right, next YG03. Drawing those shadows out. He shouldn't take too long to color either, which is always kind of like a blessing in disguise sometimes with these images, because some of them can really take a minute. But usually the ones that take longer are the ones that can really wow you, because so much time goes into it. Like, I know for this last release, I did the Kindred Town Pizza and Italian, or Italian. It's Italian and pizza. That's the official combination. I kind of kept waffling back and forth, and it is officially Italian and pizza is the name of the set. And the buildings, they can take a little bit for me to color up with the way that I like to color. But I tell you, specifically the building with the totally awesome turtles that I used, I loved the way that it turned out. So sometimes, even though it takes you a little bit of time, it still really turns out great. All right. Let's just go in, blend everything with this YG00. I'm looking on the screen, he looks a little yellower or a little bit more like olivey than he does in person. So sometimes that happens with technology. I'll have to fix a couple things with gel pen later. That won't take me too long. All right, perfect. So we've got our dino. We are going to add some detail later on. Let's do his tongue. His tongue is purple, so we're gonna do some like blue-violet. I kind of waffled on color choice for the tongue too, but settled on blue-violet. Blue-violet is one of the families of markers I don't find myself reaching for that often, because sometimes my mind can't fully comprehend what's a blue violet and what's just regular violet. And I'm like, it's violet, you know? That was BB04. Let's go in with some BB02. And when I'm done with his tongue, I'll check comments. Actually, I'm quite happy with this tongue color. All right, let's go back in, BB08. BB04. I don't know where my little Winnie went. She'll probably hear me say that. BB02. And BB00. We'll check some comments. I just love, oh, that's BB04. We don't want to use that. BB00. His colors are really great. I love the lime green with the purple tongue, and then his little like spine, I don't know what you call these, his little like puffs that are like scales that stick down his spine are like an aqua color. Oh, so good. Oh, thank you so much, Dee. I appreciate it. A list of essential Copic colors to have. I don't, however, I can tell you what I started with that I think will help just as much, even if not more. I don't know if you're familiar with the crafter Jen Shirkus. She does a lot of lawn fawn crafting. She has on her blog a list of like the 50 Copic marker colors to start with, and it's a lot of colors that let you get like 2 color blends. That's a really good starting point. And then I just say, I always recommend for my style of crafting to like start with that, but also get the markers for like a basic skin color, like entry level skin color, skin blending. And for me, the like most basic rudimentary color combination for skin tone blending is E04, E11, E21, E00, and E000. And that's just like a Caucasian skin blend. And then add on to that, get some darker E colors, typically like the E1s, to get some darker skin tones that are like a little bit more tan. You can start to incorporate some of the E1s and get a little bit more darker. But if you're going with a really dark skin tone, like for an African-American person, you are going to want to kind of migrate to a different family of markers. And I always go back and forth between those. I know that there's some E2 colors that work really nicely for very darker skin tones, but I don't have them at my fingertips. There's also, I've seen before that with really dark skin tones, some people even use BV markers, so the blue-violet markers, as like the shadow. And it's supposed to like work, and I think it gives it like a little bit of warmth. So like for Caucasian skin tones, E04 works really nicely as like the darkest color, but for like black skin tones, I've seen some people use purple, which is just interesting with the way that Copics work. Just making sure the inside of his mouth is going to be good to go. So I'm using some neutral grays. I always say though, you want to make sure that with your skin tones that you have markers for every skin tone. And that doesn't mean you have to own every marker, but not everybody is the same skin tone, obviously. So you want to make sure that you've got the markers to accommodate for that. And I always try to make sure that whenever I'm coloring up my characters, that I pay attention to, say, if they're fandom-based or something, what their heritage may be or how they exist. I don't want them to have the same sort of skin tone as other characters that may appear in their movie if that's not true to form, you know? Like, I always try to be mindful of that because it's just what you should do. Make sure that everyone is represented accordingly. and nothing is washed out. All right, perfect. All right, we are definitely getting somewhere. We just have his blues for his little scales, and then we also have, I might add just a little bit of shading to his teeth. I always kind of waffle if I want to do shading for teeth or not. So we're gonna do BG05. We're gonna do BG02. Maybe Audra needs to come up with a coordinating dye for this set. I'm already getting a little bit of anxiety thinking about coloring around each of these little like spine scales. And we will check comments shortly, I promise. I also thought about keeping the area around his eyes lighter so I could go in and make his eyes orange, but I decided against that. All right, before I go back in color, let's make sure I'm not missing anything. Good, I'm glad that you guys are aware that you can start there with your markers, with the combination. It's a great standpoint. That's what I refer everybody to. It's not, like for me, I ended up doing the full set. Like I have all the Copic sketch markers, but it was a great starting point that I could then build from. And it really gives you kind of like your primary colors. Like it's not going to give you like the slightly darker reds, or like it's going to just be kind of when you think of like colors that would be in a Crayola box, how you could get those with like 2 color blends. I think that would be the best way that I would describe it, and then you just go from there. But I will tell you guys, this is not related to markers, but it is related to colors. If you are ever looking to add Distress Oxides to your collection, I do have a list on my blog. I have actually ranked all 71 colors of the Distress Oxide inks, of what I think that I use them. Basically the ones that I basically rank them by my favorites, but my favorites are typically the ones that I find myself using the most. And I rank them, it starts at 71 and goes all the way down to number 1. So that was a labor of love to create. Let me go in, I'm gonna grab just like 2 markers. Just fell. I'm gonna have to pick that up in a second. All right, so I'm gonna go in with some C2. Just gonna add that. And then we'll go in with some C00. This is Cool Gray, of course, when I'm saying C. I'm gonna need lunch after this. My stomach's a little growly. All right, just like that. Perfect. All right, so we are almost done with coloring. I just want to do a little bit more. Let's grab my YG17 and let's grab YG07. I'm going to show you guys what I do for scales. So I like to go in, and wherever there's shadows, typically like along like the back is typically where I like to add it. I like to go in and just add some dots in my darkest colors. I don't like to overdo it. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna do the underside of the tail, do down the leg, like there. Do a couple right there. On the arm. Like that. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty good. All right, then I'm going to go out with my second darkest color, which is YG07. I'm going to use that and kind of place some more dots around where I did my first set, but they're just slightly lighter. Let's do a couple over there. All right, and then let's actually go in with some YG05. That'll be my last one. Just kind of bring these dots out a little bit more. Like that. All right, and then I think I'm also going to go in and do this to his little scales. Do BG02. And then we're going to go in and add some white gel pen accents just to kind of give them a little bit of pop. So let me grab my, and I just dropped 2 markers, oh boy. All right, so I'm just going to go in with my white gel pen and add a couple dots. I don't like to overdo it with the white because then it looks like they're like polka dotted. But just adding a little bit. Maybe this one's, where's my paper? I just want to try to, there we go. Just kind of give it like a little bit of a reflectiveness, that it looks like some of the scales maybe like glistening a little bit of light off of or something. All right, perfect. And then let me just double check. It's that little touch-up spot right there. That's about good. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by, Bo. Oh my gosh. I think I can buy Justin and Bo. I'm sorry. Have a great rest of your day, though, Bo. All right. We're going to go in. We're going to fussy cut out. If you guys have any questions, just let me know as I'm cutting along. But I love this little dino. He brings back a lot of good memories. All right, let's go in. I'm just kind of go in and around. I just got a new pair of fussy cutting scissors, not because I wanted to. I got the same kind I had before, but I accidentally used my other scissors for separating one die cut. Like, you know how there's like the metal bits with dies? I'm like, oh, these are just nearby. Let me just grab these. It's a small little piece. Nope. Ruined my scissors. Never again. But I am going to try to resurrect them by cutting through some foil. That's supposed to help sharpen blades or correct them, so fingers crossed, but even if they don't work, I have these. We're getting there. Actually, if he had those orange eyes, I'd give a really nice pop of color for him, but who will? All right. Just finishing up with his foot. Awesome. All right, we've got our dinosaur all ready to go. Just see if we can zoom out. I don't know how to zoom out. I can zoom in, but it's okay. That's okay. I shouldn't need to zoom out too much. So, all right, let's get into then a little bit of scene building. So I have the Standing Stones die cut ready to go because I want to use this for like a little bit of a distressed city. So I'm going to go in with let's use some Hickory Smoke Oxide ink. Just kind of, I don't even know if I need Hickory Smoke Oxide ink. No, you can barely see it, but it'll just kind of act as a base, I guess. I don't know. You know what? You can kind of see it. It adds a little bit of discoloration. Because the discoloration is what I'm going for. But I am going to go in with a lot more black soot, so that might not even be necessary. Let's make sure I'm not missing any comments. All right, let's see. Are those cutter bees? No, these are Spellbinder scissors, Gwen. Oh, you guys are so sweet about the fussy cutting. I just like fussy cutting. I don't know. It's never really bothered me like it does with some people. And that's not a problem if it bothers you, by all means. I love reaching for a die cut to cut out my images whenever I can. But some of them, it doesn't bother me if I have to cut it out. Usually it's the little itty bitty images is what kills me when I have to use my die cuts or not use die cuts and cut by hand. But if it's a little larger, it doesn't bother me as much. So I'm just using that Hickory Smoke Blender to blend my edges. Make sure that everything is nice and smooth. All right, and then let's go in with maybe a little bit more. I've got some Distress ink and I've got my gray blending brush. This will just make the edge a little darker. Oh boy, that's sounds like something's getting delivered soon. All right, blend this out. Add a little bit of darkness to it. Just can set that off to the side. All right, let me do a quick little cleanup. I just got a big old trash can to put under my little Facebook Live island that I have in my craft den. And it's very nice because I'm able to just drop things right in and not worry if I missed. All right, I also have a little bit of the Flames dye and I wanted to just really quickly blend like a fiery sort of pattern. So let's go. Ooh. Oh, my fingers are a little smudgy. Let me see, I'll wipe that off a little bit. I should probably, do I have a small block, but I do have my big block that I could use. Just to kind of protect my fingers. All right, there we go. We've got our yellow, but I want to go in and add also some orange and maybe a little bit of red, we'll see. So we're going with some carved pumpkin. All right, and then maybe a little bit of candied apple. pumpkin. And blend that in. And then go on with my squeezed lemonade. Just to get a real nice blend. Awesome. Put those off to the side. And let's do some splatters of water. And then while that is, we'll say bleaching, set it off to the side and do a quick little cleanup. All right. And we'll put this back in the center. Now I've got some fun little bleach marks on here. And my goal is to have the flames kind of under the city. So I think that'll work nicely. So let's go in with some adhesive. And I got a little bit of a clog, that's okay. Oh, I've got to unclog my glue, son of a bucket. All right, maybe this will work. All right, so let's go ahead, just put that in place. All right, just kind of push it so it's like a little fiery city. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And we're going to come back to this shortly. We're not done because I want to make a little bit of a sky. And I was going to make a sky that was, ooh, wait a minute. Oh, phooey. Now that I'm looking at this, I got a little bit of a smudge on my, that'll be fine. Okay. I was going to do just a blue sky, but I'm almost wondering if I do like a purple sky. Stay tuned. Hold on one second. Let's grab. Let's grab some purple. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to add some orange. So this is carved pumpkin. I'm curious to see how purple is going to blend into it. Oh, not bad at all. That's very fiery. All right. And I can go in with some black soot. All right. So I was just going to do like a daytime blue sky, but I wanted to do something a little different. This to me is very different. And then because I'm just thinking, oh yes. Oh, it looks like it's glow. Y'all, this is great. This is great. Okay, okay. So now let's go in. I'm gonna take some black soot. Just kind of do this top of the sky. Just like that, and then we will go in with that wilted violet. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Perfect. It's also very Halloween-y too, and that was not my intent, but it works. All right. So let's go in and distress the sky. I never would have thought about blending purple and orange together too, but given that I can cover it up, that's kind of cool. Maybe because the strip is so small too, that helps. Yes, it's gonna look very cool. All right. Ooh, look at those bleach marks. Those are good bleach marks. So let's clean up real quick. And then let's go ahead and glue this down. Oh, phooey, this could have been a little better. There we go. I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back. And then I want to go ahead and that over there. I don't need to use everything. Just use my block just to kind of apply a nice even pressure. Awesome. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna use it like in the center of the card like this as like a little bit of a background. I don't know, I don't think I wanna do the blue. Yeah, we're gonna do the blue. There we go. So I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate where I want this to go. I think that's pretty good. All right. Just slightly adjust it. And then what we can go ahead and do is I did want to adhere some glitter strips. It's just glitter paper from my stash that I trimmed down. Just to give it a little bit of pop. Another bit down here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And then I have a little bit that's smudged, but I can put him over there, and that'll cover that very nicely. All right, so we're getting somewhere. We're not there yet, though. So let me go ahead and grab my skizzers. And then I just want to trim my excess. Okay, that's pretty good. So we're gonna do, he's gonna be like right there. And then I'm gonna do my sentiment up there, and then we're just gonna add some embellishments. So let's do our sentiment. And I gotta grab, I'm gonna set this off to the side. Let's check some comments. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead. I probably should wipe this before I get real dirty. Oh, I've got glue on here, so I'm gonna have to clean that off. Let's see. All right, good as new. Now, let's go in. I'm going to use the sentiment, your Dino-Mite, which I dropped onto the ground with my stamp set. And then I'm So we're gonna do You Are Dynamite. Pick it up. I'm gonna grab my embossing tool. And then I'm gonna use my Kindred Stamps embossing ink pad. Do it a second time, just like that. And then let's go ahead and I'm just gonna grab a scrap piece of paper. And I'm gonna grab my Snowfall embossing powder, which is right here. Perfect. Put the excess away. And let's go ahead. All right, do a quick clean off. And put this off to the side. Can put my sentiment away. And let's go ahead and we will fussy cut the sentiment out. I like to fussy cut the sentiments because I feel like it gives them just a little bit of extra popping potential. But we're also going to do a little bit of ink blending too. A little closer. Perfect. Actually, when I say perfect, and that's not perfect, I need to fix that just a little bit. Great. And let's grab my black soot. And we're just gonna go in and distress the edge of this. Now remember, when you heat emboss, there is that emboss resist technique, which means anything that you emboss first and then ink blend over, you can just wipe the ink right off. It doesn't go into your dried embossing powder. So that's why I did it second, because I could just ink blend right over it. Perfect. So I'll put that to the side. Then we can start assembling. So let's go ahead and grab some foam tape. And push this off to the side. Oh, I love when the dyes work nicely together. And I'm really starting to enjoy this flame dye more and more because I'm starting to see how many different ways you can use it. Where it doesn't just have to be like, oh, it's just like add flames to your project. Yes, but like add them with like a city that a dinosaur is burning to the ground. Wahaha. You know, like just like fun Halloween stuff or fun anything stuff. My fingers are also so incredibly inky right now. I'm just baffled. All right. So we got You Are Dynamite. And we need our dino, who's Dino-Mite. So let's just add a nice big chunk. Right there. And we'll make these a little smaller. Just add a couple little bits. I say a couple, it's gonna be more than a couple, it's gonna be like 3 more. All right. All right, one more. Why is taking the back off foam tape such a darn chore? Oh, no. There we go. Okay. All right, we've got our dino. He is good to go. So let's put this on a card base, and then I want to add a couple embellishments too. So... Is this card base too small? What the heck? Oh no, it is a little too small. I'm gonna have to take this off and I'll do another one. Before I thought I had it all ready to go. Okay, that's okay. Let's do a card base with you guys on camera with me. So grab my large scoring board. See, I thought I had a card base that was sized appropriately, but card bases can be a little elusive. So let's see, let's go ahead, score this one at the 4 1/4 mark, bring it over, like that. All right, and then let me trim. This should be better, and if not, that means my original card front was the wrong size. All right, we are getting somewhere. All right, and then I just want to go ahead and add some embellishments. I've got some Portland sequins by Catherine Pooler. Let me grab. Oh, are these going to be blending in a little? They'll be fine. So let's put a big one there. Oh, phooey. Adding, I've got 7 little bits and bobs of sequins I want to add. One more. Just take it all. Nope, that's not going to take. So let's add one more, and then we will be good to go. What do I want to add? Let's do that one. Some sequins do not like being adhered to projects. I tell ya, it drives me nuts. Mr. Sequin, please don't. You're like the last thing I have to put into place. All right. We are good. We have our Dino-Mite card all done. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Let's go over just a little bit of what I used today. So, of course, let me push it into the center. I'm trying to clean my little sequin dish, and that's not going very well. We used the Dino-Mite stamp set along with the Standing Stones and the Flames craft die and the retro paper pack to help create a little like 90s inspired dinosaur bringing end of like the city sort of energy. We also used some Snowfall embossing powder and the embossing ink pad for our sentiment, and we did a lot of fun ink blending as well. I really love how that orange that we blended into the purple kind of comes through, and it kind of looks like a carryover of the flames. So that was a great choice to use the purple. I'm very happy with that. So we are all done with today's card. Thank you all so very much for being here today. I know I got a little quiet towards the end, and I apologize for that. But we are all good to go. I will be back, of course, next month with 2 more Facebook Lives for more crafting inspiration. And I can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you so very much for being over here today, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Goodbye.